distinct pleasure to welcome you all here today. My name is Jonathan Schulman, and I am the director of the Center for Excellence in Citizenship here at La Jolla Country Day School. And at the Center for Excellence in Citizenship, what we seek to teach our students, our faculty, our community, is that citizenship is as much about rights as it is about responsibilities to our community. We are very lucky to have a number of people here today, and I wanted to recognize we have Bridge Langford from Councilwoman Barbara Bree's office. There's Bridge, thank you. We have Cesar Solis and Jason Berkovich from Congressman Scott Peters' office. There's Jason back there. We have Michaela Volk from from Assembly Member Todd Gloria's office. There's Michaela. So we actually have, fair to say, that we have representatives from the legislative offices of two of the announced candidates for mayor in 2020. So we'll continue to watch that. We also have Serena Hendel from Senator Harris's office, who you may know is running for president. Senator Harris. Serena is not, no, okay. And we have Lucera Chavez from Assemblywoman Gonzalez's office. And we'd also like to thank Nathan Fletcher's office. Nathan Fletcher met with our distinguished guest earlier today. I'd like to thank, very quickly, two amazing parents who helped us put together such a beautiful event. And that's Alia Hadi and Ladan Danishmand, and they deserve big applause. I also want to thank our student entertainment, our string quartet, led by our orchestral music teacher, Joan Diener. And also we had a performance by Pip Lewis. If you enjoyed Pip Lewis's music, half as much as I did, then you enjoyed it a lot. And you can find her on Spotify and iTunes. I'd also like to thank all of our parent and student volunteers. I would like to thank our partners at the Preuss School. We had a fantastic time earlier this afternoon where our students joined the Preuss students over at Preuss, and we got to meet the two delegations that have joined us here today, that I hope you all are getting a chance to meet as well. And at this point, I would like to not only thank, but at the same time introduce the Executive Director of the San Diego Diplomacy Council, our partners, my partner, Fabian Perloff.
On behalf of the San Diego Diplomacy Council, I want to welcome you all this evening. I, of course, want to thank La Jolla Country Day School. Gary, thank you for hosting this event tonight. Jonathan, thank you for being a champion of our diplomatic efforts in San Diego throughout the year. And your team has done a remarkable job tonight. So thank them, please. A round of applause to start this evening. I also want to thank the Preuss School for meeting with our students, for building those bridges with our international leaders. Thank you for your partnership. Each week, the San Diego Diplomacy Council brings world leaders to your schools, to your institutions, your businesses, your legislators, and share the knowledge, learn about America, and try together to find solutions to common shared global challenges. And you know that we have a lot of challenges. Climate change, human rights, environmental sustainability, human trafficking, trade, and so many more. So in a world that is interconnected, in a world where you have so many of those global threats and opportunities, America needs to stand by its partners. America needs to engage with the rest of the world. And this is what you are doing tonight. You are standing with the San Diego Diplomacy Council and all our guests from around the world in solidarity and as partners to address global challenges. So kudos to everybody here. As a proud mother, immigrant, Jewish, but also someone who has worked for years with refugees around the world, I am very honored to welcome to San Diego a special guest. And I can tell you, she makes a huge difference in the lives of girls and women who are displaced in Burma or in refugee camps in Thailand. She makes a huge difference in the lives of those people who are suffering from ethnic cleansing, and let's put a real word on it, genocide. So thank you to our International Women of Courage for being with us tonight. She's a hero. She's more than an International Woman of Courage. She's a hero. And you know, when the curtains will close tonight, she'll still continue to work in the dark. So I hope that the memories that she will have of this experience in San Diego will last forever, during the hard time as well as during the good times. I also know the difference that our two groups of educators that are here in this room tonight make in the lives of their students every single day. We have educators from Kurdistan. We also have educators from, and I can look at my list, Georgia, Russia, Bolivia, Tunisia, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, and China. Thank you for inspiring your students to be better leaders for the generations to come and to make a difference in this world. So thank you for being here. Their stories are inspiring, but they are also a reminder of how we can all make a difference, how we can all contribute to our community, to our country, and our world. By engaging tonight in conversations with leaders from around the world, you, San Diegans, have a chance to make lasting impressions, to represent the United States in a very personal and different way. So I encourage you to seize that opportunity and to be citizen diplomats. If you want to hear more about how the San Diego Diplomacy Council can help you in that journey, we have a table at the entrance with a lot of marketing, informational materials. Join us as members and meet the world in your own backyard. Represent your community in a very meaningful way and promote prosperity, stability, and peace, one handshake at a time. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Wirtz. I am a junior here at La Jolla Country Day School, and I've been asked to speak on citizen diplomacy from the perspective of a youth. As I stand before you today, I'm inspired by our guest and her message on the impact of working together to affect change. I recently returned from a trip to Cuba with the San Diego Diplomacy Council. This experience, in a country whose ideologies are diametrically opposed to our own, solidified my belief in the importance of bringing disparate and unlikely groups together to understand differences and affect change. I see the same melding of unlikely groups in our audience. We have everything from the perspectives of high school students to those of Foreign Service diplomats present this evening. Tonight, we are in a high school that recognizes this importance and has established a Center for Excellence in Citizenship that goes beyond the construct of an insular high school curriculum. We are all benefiting from the San Diego Diplomacy Council as well, that is far-reaching in its international scope of connections, yet continues to value its local community. I realize as a youth that it is often when the most unlikely groups come together, rather than remaining siloed, that perspectives are opened, dialogue is broadened, and the most long-lasting change is likely to occur. Spending time in Cuba with the San Diego Diplomacy Council last week epitomized the importance of citizen diplomacy to look beyond the constructs of established beliefs in order to open dialogue, understand differences, and build bridges for impactful change. I'd like to take a brief moment to thank my teachers here at La Jolla Country Day School, in particular Mr. Schulman, who established the Center for Excellence in Citizenship. I'd also like to thank Natalie and Fabian with the San Diego Diplomacy Council, as well as my fellow Cuba goers, for embracing me as a youth and working as citizen diplomats together in order to affect change. And with that, it is now my extreme honor and pleasure to introduce Naw K'nyaw Paw. Naw K'nyaw Paw is the General Secretary for Caring Women's Organization, promoting women's participation in the political process, as well as decision-making and human rights. Naw K'nyaw Paw is one of 10 women in the world to win this year's International Women of Courage Award. Naw is a lifelong human rights supporter that has spent her life supporting ethnic communities displaced by civil war. And with that, please join me in a warm welcome for Naw K'nyaw Paw.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for a very nice introduction. And also thank you to San Diego Diplomacy Council and everyone who organized this gathering. I'm very pleased and very happy with your hospitalities and your welcoming me here. I'd like you to imagine you're being 11-year-old girl. You come back home from school one day and you find your village is empty, family gone, being fled, because the Burma army military has bombed your village and no one there. Then you spend days wandering from settlement to settlement looking for your families. Finally, you found your aunt, and your aunt told you that your family have fled to Thai side because of the fighting, and your aunt arranged for you, put you in a boat, and the boat take you to another side of the border, and then you spend time again looking for your family. Finally, you reunited with your family, but it was very hard for the 11-year-old girl, and that 11-year-old girl is me. My name is Naw K'nyaw Paw. I was born displaced and spent my entire childhood either running or in a refugee camp. My family fled from Burma because of the Burma army attack, and I was born on the border. My parents was forced to send me to a school in Thai side because it was not safe in my village. And every summertime when I came home, I couldn't find my family in the same place. My family fled to another place. So I never have lived with my family together in a peaceful way. At that time, the Burma army has destroyed more than 3,500 villages in Southeast Burma and has slaughtered many thousands people more. If you ask me, my home village, I can tell you about my ancestral home village because the Karen are one of the indigenous people in Burma. And my family and my community, we occupy mountains, rivers, valleys for hundreds of years. But I have no single place that I could call home or village. No place in my memory that I live with my family peacefully. Because I was born displaced and this situation hasn't stopped. Until today, we still have little girl who has to stay far away from the family or who are fleeing the Burma army because of the fighting continue in my country. I have been working with the Karen Women's Organization for 20 years now. The Karen Women's Organization is a community-based grassroots women organization. We work supporting refugees, women and children along the Thai-Burma border in 7 refugee camps, and also in internally displaced people camp in Karen state and villages throughout Southeast Burma. I myself, I lived in refugee camp and I finished my high school there. After I finished my high school, I started joining my organization. And that's where I had the opportunity to go to training, to attend workshop, and because I have worked with the organization, it has also opened up my eyes, and it's made me to continue to work and to support my communities in refugee camps and back home in Burma. My experience 27 years ago is still happening today. and to many other ethnic people in Burma. As I am speaking now, villagers are still running and hiding, and children are still running and hiding because of the Burma army attack. We cannot let this to happen. This is why I chose to work with this organization. After we stay in refugee camp for so long, a country like the United States and the Western country has opened up opportunity for the refugees to resettle. And all my family resettle. I have my family in Canada and my sisters in Norway. But I choose to remain along the Thai-Burma border and continue to support my community that's still suffering until today. I miss my family every day. Of course, my family wanted me to go and stay with them. But it is hard for me because the experience that I've been through since I was a little girl is still hurt, and I still see children are suffering every day. And so I decided I have the opportunity and I need to give back to my community. Let me tell you a little bit about our people. The Karen has lived in the southeastern part of Burma and also in the west and northern part of Thailand. We have been there 100 years. We are largely rural. We live in rural area and we are growing rice, harvesting our food from the jungle. Our friends who visit us, we laugh because you cannot walk with a Karen person without stop picking up a vegetable here and there to eat. And we have passed down this through many generations of our knowledge of plants and animals in our lands. We have our own language and our culture and our traditional, and the clothes that I'm wearing is a traditional cloth and we are wearing every day and it's very common. We have a large portion of Korean community who are members of animist, our faith, our historic faith, and then a large group of Christian like my family and also a large group of Buddhists. We have cultural tradition that's crossed throughout our faith, from dances to tradition that's binding our families together, and events where we thank God and the gods for our harvest. It is all those things that caused the Burmese to fight against our existence for so many years. They want us to be more like them and less like us. And that is why we are even prohibited to call the villages, the rivers, the mountains in our name, and to study our own language. Like my organization, we could not register in Burma because of our name. We are very in touch, we feel our name as our identity, but we are not allowed to register as our name, and that is why it is very hard. And we are not treated as an equal people in our own country. We love our history and heritage, and we want the same rights that we have here. We've been in refugee camps for so long, but we have used the opportunities in refugee camps as an educational place where we give training to each other, we support each other, we learn about human rights, we learn about international law, we learn how to govern ourselves. And in the refugee camps, we elected our leaders, we elected the camp leaders, the secretary, and then we have our education in charge, health in charge, who are running our life day to day. And every day, we help each other and manage our own affair. For KWO, each day, we help provide protection to the women who are suffering from violence from home. But also in the current states, we help Korean women who are suffering from the military abuses. We help women and children from since they're born and until they're grown up, and we encourage and advocating for women to participate in the leadership levels, at the decision-making levels, and also in the peace table. We'll run women's discussion, leadership training, extensive women protection program, which also provides safe houses, case management, advocacy regarding gender-based violence. We have used our time very well and built our organization that's changed the lives of indigenous people every day, and we are very proud of our success. That has changed our community, but of course, this will never be complete. Certainly not until we have a true peace in Burma and our indigenous rights over our land, our education, and our culture. In 2004, my organization, Korean Women's Organization, we released a report called Shattering Silences that documented Burmese military sexual abuse against our Korean women. A few years later, we released 2 more reports. Walking Among Sharp Knives and State of Terror, both also documenting Burma Army abuses against our women. And then in 2017, the world watched in horror when the Burmese army, again committed unspeakable crime, this time against the Rohingya women. The Rohingya women are those who live on the western part of the Burma. And thousands of women have been raped and very well documented by one community ethnic across to another ethnic communities. But this Burmese military continue to run the country and control over our lives. That is why I came here. I'm begging the world to help hold these men accountable to their actions and bring them to justice. Our hearts are going out to the Rohingya women who have been suffering sexual violence at the hands of the Burma army. We also know that there are many other ethnic women in other parts of ethnic areas that are suffering at the Burma army hands. The Rohingya are not alone. All ethnic other women are either vulnerable to attack or are being currently attacked. It will not end until the world take actions as a united communities and to hold these Burmese generals very accountable to their actions. We are very grateful to the United States government for providing support to the refugees along the Thai-Burma border and all over the world. But our situation in the refugee camp is getting worse. A lot of international communities has pulled out, the aid is drying up, and refugees continue to suffer. So we need the United States government to continue to support the refugees so they will be able to live safely until they'll be able to return home with dignity and in safety. I came here also asking for United States government to reinstate sanctions targeting the military and the cronies and their businesses. Because the military continue to act independently from the civilian government and they continue to abuse people. And because they have a lot of business and they have a lot of money to buy weapons. So we need sanctions targeting the military so they feel pressure and they will change their action. We also come here to share our stories to many people, hoping that you will all will also share and will take our stories and share back to other people. And at the same time, we know that you can help us in our struggle. As I said, you can pass our story, you can hold an event, sharing our situations, you can volunteer with us, to come and volunteer with us. I came here, when I visit the Korean community here, I request them that they come back and support us because we need more resources in our communities. And I know that with support and network that we have in here, like in the US, we'll be able to continue to help our community and to help release the suffering of our people. Even though we cannot make bigger changes, the small changes we could make and everything that we could help to support our people to relieve their pressure, it's helping them. So I would like all of you, when you have time, to think about us, to share our stories, and when you have time and resources, to come and volunteer with us, to share your skills and knowledge, so we can continue to support the refugees and people in Burma. Thank you very much for your attention.
My name is Gary Cron, the head of school, and no day is complete without a proclamation. And so, from the city of San Diego, a proclamation. Whereas, Naw K'nyaw Paw is a peace activist and general secretary of the Korean Women's Organization, an ethnic women's organization of over 60,000 members, supporting gender equality and indigenous people, the rights in Burma. And whereas Naw K'nyaw Paw is one of the 10 honorees selected for the 2019 International Women's of Courage Award, as recognized by the U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo and First Lady Melania Trump in Washington, D.C. And whereas Naw K'nyaw Paw is in San Diego for a 4-day tour coordinated by the San Diego Diplomacy Council, and whereas Naw K'nyaw Paw is meeting with community leaders, students, and prominent officials working to protect human rights while engaging in a dialogue with the San Diego community, and whereas Naw K'nyaw Paw continues to share her experiences as a lifelong human rights supporter, growing up in a refugee camp on the Thai-Burma border and working her entire life to support ethnic communities who continue to be displaced by the decades-long civil war. And whereas Naw K'nyaw Paw has documented sexual and gender-based violence in the Burma area since 2004, putting herself at great personal risk. And whereas Naw K'nyaw Paw has remarkable courage that led her to be one of the few Burmese refugees in the region to publicly condemn the military-led violence against the Rohingya people. And whereas Naw K'nyaw Paw continues to persevere in fighting for the equality and protection of all people in her country and beyond its borders. Be it proclaimed that the Mayor of San Diego, Mayor Kevin Faulconer, on behalf of the citizens of San Diego, proclaim March 14, 2019 to be the Naw K'nyaw Paw Day in the city of San Diego. Congratulations.
It's an honor to have you. And what you shared with us and the stories, I'm standing in this community center thinking about that, and I felt like for a moment I was walking down those village roads and trying to understand what you went through with the courage that it took. Must have been incredible. And now you've been able to help others with that same courage and fortitude get through some of the most difficult times of their lives. And we appreciate you coming here and sharing that with us. It's a unique opportunity that very few cities and very few communities get to hear from. And the fact that you came to San Diego is an honor. I know you were in Washington, D.C., of course, and was recognized there, but now being in California and in San Diego, we're here to recognize you for that. I'm reading something on behalf of Assemblymember Todd Gloria, who couldn't be here. And he was much shorter in his whereases, and so I will just cut to the point for Naw K'nyaw Paw. Your incredible work to support gender equality and indigenous rights in Burma has made a profound difference in so many lives. On behalf of the 78th Assembly District of California, which is here, thank you for your activism and congratulations on your recognition by the U.S. State Department as an International Women of Courage Awardee. Signed, Todd Gloria. And take this back with you, and you're going to be able to hopefully hang it on your wall and be able to show people what you brought back from the United States.
Of course, I think we are all emotional at this point. I now want to close the program, but I encourage you to meet with K'nyaw Paw, have conversations with her, ask all your questions, all the questions that you have in mind, and also meet with our visitors from Kurdistan, from the other countries, meet with other globally minded San Diegans. I want to thank as well again La Jolla Country Day School for putting this event together, this fantastic event, not only fantastic but meaningful event as well. Thank you to our board of directors, our volunteers, to Matthew for being a great speaker tonight and the best traveler on our citizen diplomacy trip to Cuba. Enjoy the rest of this evening, and I hope you will come to our office. We're located in City Heights. We're a fun, talented, and very, very committed team of citizen diplomats. So knock at our door. Thank you.